So what do you do when your marriage is in such a good place and you're just blissfully happy? Inappropriately, this is if you're Prince Harry, inappropriately lunge for a hug with another woman who has a boyfriend and was completely shocked by this right next to your said wife, who I presume was looking away.
They live in their own world, in their own bubble, and Meghan has her truth. There are so many issues going on here.
Harry's awkward smile really said it all. It's like he's looking very unhappy. Look at that. Then he realizes, oh gosh, she is recording me again. I better smile.
Friday night, Victoria, British Columbia, purple carpet, the last big gala a very famous songwriter will ever throw. $14.5 million in the room. And there she is on that carpet, arm out, telling the host of the evening where to go and stand. On his carpet, at his party, on the last night he will ever do this.
Harry and Meghan, I think at this point, are having so many problems behind the scenes, Dan, that this is why you see all this chaos on the front end here in the media, because there's so much happening that we don't see. And this is why it looks chaotic. Doesn't make sense.
He walks straight past her hand like it is not there. 2 hours later, her husband has both arms around a 31-year-old singer, telling her he felt every word of it in the back of his throat. The girl writes him a lovely thank you the next morning and does not mention his wife once.
Weirdly inappropriate, someone who claims to be a member of the British royal family. It's certainly not something you would see most royals do.
You definitely would not, Dan. And it came across as very odd. I feel you in the back of my throat. Maybe that's a British thing. I'm not quite sure what Harry is trying to get across there. Perspective comes across as very odd, going in and lunging for a hug and a cuddle, as she describes it. Again, shows Harry kind of desperately trying to figure out, I think, what this post-royal life means, because they're desperately trying to be royal.
Back in April, when somebody said there was trouble in that marriage, their own representative called it totally and utterly false. Right, let's go through Friday night properly, minute by minute, and you can tell me.
As Princess Carparkle put it, Meghan Markle directing David Foster and Catherine McPhee at his own gala, then cackling away. She loves the attention from the camera and red carpet. She does that whole over-emoting, that crazy husband of mine laugh. It's too much and phony AF. Han said how cute Meghan was spotted doing her favourite thing, directing people where to stand on the red carpet at David Foster's Foundation's event. And Meghan's mole went further, posting, when a picture tells the real story, stand Meghan and Harry.
Nobody made them go. This was not a duty, not a rota job. Nobody rang from a palace. They turned up unannounced at somebody else's 40th anniversary charity night and walked up the carpet after every paying guest was already seated. And the second she is on it, she starts arranging people. Left arm up, out, across, and down. She is showing a man old enough to be her father where to put his feet. Beside him, his wife, a woman who has won things in her own right, also getting position. And then that laugh.
Meghan was completely blanked by David Foster when she reached out her hand at the photo call. We also had the usual creepy body language of Meghan telling people where to stand and how to pose for photographs. So Harry and Meghan were at this event because they've got nothing else to do. They've got no jobs or anything. There's no money coming in, sadly. I say that with no pleasure at all. They are in big financial trouble. And that's one of the reasons why the marriage is crumbling.
The head back, mouth open. Oh, you are so funny laugh she does at cameras and only at cameras. The cheek of it on his carpet. He does not take the instruction. Not a glance, not a nod, nothing. He goes round that arm and finds his own spot, and somebody else has to walk into shot and rescue the picture for her. She looks down, then she puts both hands behind her back.
As Nancy Sidley reminded us, before this moment even happened, Meghan had to stop walking, tell her assistant to pull out her phone and start recording. That's why Harry is so far ahead of her. Imagine living your life having to set up and record every moment just to feel validated, including your engagement.
Inside, it carries on in exactly the same key. There is a live auction going, real money for a real charity, and she is filming herself through it. Not bidding, filming, telling the room she has $50,000 now, doing the little voice straight to her own phone. There are pipers coming through. Before they reach her, she stops walking and gets her assistant to bring the phone out and start recording, which is precisely why her husband is 20 feet ahead of her in every frame from that corridor.
Their star is definitely on the decline in the entertainment industry. Things are just not moving and shaking as they used to be. And the couple, I think, is definitely feeling the stress of that, particularly Meghan, who has, I think, dreamed for years and years of being this mover and shaker in the entertainment industry. and has been kind of shocked to see herself fall from grace so incredibly hard. I think it's been quite difficult for her to try to figure this out. And of course, the main culprit is the lack of talent for the both of them.
Then, a very famous singer takes the stage and she is up dancing, hollering, one person there called it, arms going, making sure the whole room clocks her. And her husband sat there. Have a look at his face during that. He does the thing he has been doing for about 4 years now, where the smile arrives about a second and a half after it is needed. Flat, then on, then flat again. The moment he thinks nobody is pointing anything at him. Somebody watching it at home said he looks unhappy, and then he clocks that she is recording him again, so he had better smile. That is the night she chose. That is the night she planned, on a carpet she ran herself. Totally and utterly false.
And there's just so much going on. I think Harry is in a position now. He has to, I know I always go back, but I don't understand why we can't see that the problem is Meghan and what she is doing to Harry.
The hubby lunging at Sydney Christmas. There was no Sydney Christmas reference whatsoever on Meghan Markle's Instagram, and that doesn't surprise me because it was highly inappropriate, I thought, of Prince Harry.
Now the singer, 31 years old from Britain, won a talent show a couple of years back. 10 years younger than him. She does Tomorrow, then she does My Way. Before she starts, she makes a little joke about the king. Says, sorry he could not come. He sent me instead, and he laughs at that like he has not laughed at anything in months. Then she comes off the stage, and he walks at her, both arms. And then he tells her he felt every word of it in the back of his throat.
Prince Harry has given his royal seal of approval to 2024 Britain's Got Talent winner Sydney Christmas. He told Sid, quote, he felt every word in the back of his throat after she performed Tomorrow from Anne and Frank Sinatra's My Way in front of him at David Foster's charity gala in Canada over the weekend.
I have turned that sentence over about 9 times, and I still cannot work out what he thought he was saying to a woman he'd met 90 seconds earlier, with his wife standing on the same floor. Her own version of it is the funniest thing in this whole business, and she is not showing off, bless her. What she wrote was that this is where it gets weird, and that he simply went in for the hug, and she thought, well, why not? Why not? She is being polite about a married man. Then comes the morning after, and this is the bit nobody else has picked up. She posts her thank you, pinch me moment, she calls it, tells him he is the loveliest soul she has ever come across.
Speaking from Canada, Sid told me, when I was on stage, I joked about meeting his dad before adding, sorry he couldn't make it, he sent me instead. Oh my God, I say such silly things when I'm nervous, but Harry started laughing. Here's where it gets weird. Got down off stage, he just came forward and gave me a big, and he went, Sydney, I felt every word, I really felt that. Revealing how the fifth in line to the throne ditched royal protocol, Sydney continued, he just went in for the hug. And I was like, why not?
And then she tags the account, at Sussex Royal. Nobody has posted a thing on that handle in 6 years. It is a headstone with a blue tick on it. Of all the places that girl could have sent her thanks, she reached for a dead one. And not one soul in that couple's office picked up a phone to correct her. Meghan is not in it. She is not tagged. Her name does not appear anywhere in that post. And she is not thanked. Not once. Not even in passing.
Meghan was completely left out of the singer's post, with the inactive Sussex Royal tagged in her place rather than any of Meghan's own accounts. So this extremely experienced has deliberately snubbed Meghan and sent out a clear message, which is, get out of the way, sister. Get out of the way, because I am coming for your man.
Now, before anybody tells me the girl was simply being careless, go and look at what was happening on the other side of it. Meghan posted plenty that weekend. The auction, yes. Piper's got a video. So did the frock, the flowers, and the whole lot of it. Not one word about the singer. 2 women at the same party, publishing around each other for 48 hours like a pair of divorced neighbors pretending not to see each other over the fence. Funny that. Totally and utterly false.
There was a very telling moment, which makes it quite clear things are not good in this marriage.
Your kids and Meghan must be so proud of you. Do they tell you every day? They tell me every day that they're proud of me.
She's not proud of you, she's using you, but she's not proud of you. It's almost so tragic that he can't see it. But then he has obviously made a decision to not acknowledge anything, to not try and apologize, to not try and win back public support.
Right, and here's where it stops being one strange evening. Go back 4 weeks. 10th of July, the National Exhibition Center in Birmingham. 1 year to go until the next Invictus Games. Live on morning television with half the country eating their toast. Meghan was meant to be there. She pulled out. Security, apparently. So he did the day on his own. And I want you to look at what comes out of that man the second she is not at his elbow. A woman off the telly goes straight at him. He catches hold of her. And the pair of them are laughing and swaying and bouncing about like two people at the wrong end of a wedding on live television.
People have seen them together. Oh dear. My goodness. Harry's growing. Is it a backbone? Or, my goodness, maybe he's not going to be able to juggle those balls outside of windows anymore because...
On a Friday morning, he tells her she is very excitable and that he loves that about her and that everybody does. He follows it by informing her, unprompted, that he is one of her secret admirers. And then, out of nowhere, that his children adore watching her on the baking program. Amy, he made a speech that morning as well. Cracked a joke about how some of them have got older and some of them have lost their hair. Got a proper laugh. Then he raced her round a laser course and lost, and did not seem to mind losing one bit.
Some of us have lost more of our hair. Some of us look younger than we did before. Some of us look older.
They didn't laugh. He's in a room with his biggest supporters. They didn't even laugh. I think this is going to be the wake-up moment for Prince Harry, actually. I mean, if anything tells you you've lost the room, it's that. When your biggest supporters are no longer by your side. I mean, he stuck to the speech. I was actually furious by the end of it. I'm not going to play you any more other than this last bit, because he still believes that it's his place to lecture the world.
For about 90 minutes, that was a bloke enjoying his own life. And here is the thing that made me sit up. The woman who spent 2 years writing his biography watched that same Friday morning, and by the afternoon, she had posted it in public. Harry always seems much happier when Meghan is not around, not weeks later, and not with the benefit of hindsight either. That same day, there is a broadcaster who has been saying the same thing for months and getting laughed at for it. Away from her, the weight comes off him, and there is a bit of a sparkle back. Beside her, out it goes.
Everyone in that room, other than Alison Hammond, seemed to be against him, were not laughing along. It's, to me, a seminal moment. It's the moment where Harry will have to realise that he's even lost the Invictus Games crowd. They were his loyalists. But am I reading it wrong?
Put the two Fridays side by side. Birmingham in July, a purple carpet in August. Same man, same open arms. And in neither one of those hugs is his wife anywhere in the frame. Totally and utterly false.
It was quite cringe. You heard nothing when he tried to make that. He's in a position now where he has to address a lot of the ills of his life. How can he even try to move on in this moment that is supposed to be his everything when there is so much looming around everything, around his security, his wife, his father? He just brings too much negativity with his own life.
Now go back to that carpet, and this time do not look at either of their faces. Look at her left hand. That is a presenter politely offering her a range of a few days, and her cutting straight across him. No, months. She's right, which is the maddening part. Jordan, no ring. A charity dinner in Los Angeles in March, no ring. Geneva, in May, no ring. Australia, no ring. Her own film screening at the end of July, wedding band on, engagement ring nowhere. The last time anybody photographed that ring on that finger was February.
But also in the context, Lady C, of this missing engagement ring, which has been off for anywhere from 4 days to 5 months. So I just want to show you what Maureen reported.
Meghan has not been wearing her engagement ring in public for at least 5 days. Now, Yahoo is actually reporting she hasn't been wearing it in public for 4 months. But most news outlets only realized this about 5 days ago, which tells us a lot.
And this is not some bit of costume jewelry she got bored of. He designed it himself. Either side of the center stone, he set 2 diamonds taken out of his own mother's collection, and he sat there on camera in 2017 glowing about it, 28 years old and thoroughly pleased with himself. 6 months of a bare finger on a woman who has never once in her life been photographed by accident. Her reading is not that a jeweler has got it. Taken off on purpose, she reckons. Left off on purpose.
Maybe she has been, I don't know, I'm only speculating now, but maybe she was quite deliberately keeping off the engagement ring to get the message across that there might be trouble in paradise. I think it's called jerking the man's chain. There's even an expression for it. He's not had his change up to such an extent that he's going to be having Meghan leading him around by the collar yet again. But I think he will be led by the collar by Meghan Markle.
Yes, indeed.
A message sent in the only language that woman has ever been properly fluent in. And on the one night this month, the cameras were pointed straight at those hands. She looked down and put them behind her back. Convenient timing that there is a body language woman who went through the carpet frame by frame afterwards. And what she wrote is the coldest thing anybody has published about that marriage all year. Meghan presses into him, puts a hand flat on his chest, gives the cameras the big open my man smile. She calls that hand a gesture of ownership. Then she turns to him. Very light placement of his fingers on her back is how she puts it.
I've told you before, and I'm the only journalist in the world with my 2036 Tesla Power Brain, that Meghan is competing with Harry and always has, because she's pathologically transactional and she competes with everyone, including her own husband. She competes with her father, Thomas Markle. She competed half siblings. She competed with her ex-husband, Trevor Engelson. The minute she got that part in Suits, he helped her with her career. She gets the part in Suits, $50,000 an episode, sends the wedding ring back to him by return of post.
Less reciprocal is the phrase, mouth closed instead of the old grin, and a hard, flat stare down the lens she compared to a fashion shoot pose. One of them is doing the marriage. The other one is standing next to it being photographed. Totally and utterly false.
She was perfectly happy to do it. The baby that had managed prenatal skills that he was diving from the abdomen to between her knees. That was okay. That could have been dispensed with, because there's nothing she can sue me for. And if she tried, she and I and Harry all know that we will end up in a court of law and that they will then have to testify.
One woman called all of this before a single frame of that footage existed, and she got taken apart for it. 40 years around that family. She wrote the Diana book that half of Fleet Street has been quietly helping itself to for 30 years. In July, she went on air and said this marriage was in trouble.
It's amazing that after 7 years with Harry, Meghan still doesn't know how to behave in the approximation of ladylike behavior.
What came back was not a lawyer's letter. It was a magazine, sourced to somebody who would not put a name anywhere near it, saying the pair of them remain a united front. She read that. Then she sat down in front of a camera and did not leave much of anybody standing. 7 years of duchessing, and a woman who has met most of the crowned heads in Europe, reckons she still cannot conduct herself properly in a room.
She's still that rather greasy little chancer that she always was. So I'm not at all intimidated by her or by him. And all I can say is, if they think that they have an action that they can bring against me, bring it on. I'll see them in a court of law.
No publicist, no careful little clarification, nothing about respecting privacy at a difficult time. She invited the lawsuit on air, and then she pointed at the bit they had not thought about, which is that if it ever arrived, those two would be standing in a witness box answering questions under oath. Good grief, the woman is enjoying herself. And the line she gave months back, long before any of this, has aged better than anything anybody has said about that house.
I am supremely unworried. And as for the idea that evidently is mooted in New Idea as well, and pointing out to her that notwithstanding the fact that you've been a member of the royal family for 7 years, you still can't get over the fact that you behave like trash. You still don't understand, so you behave like trash. Oh, sorry. You behave in such a classy way that everybody despises you.
Her advice to him was that he would be well advised to get out, and that the going was still just about possible. Nobody was listening then. Go and look at July and August and tell me she had it wrong. Totally and utterly false.
Meganian and Herodian and stupid, cack-handedly naive as those two rather slick but inefficient operators are, that I was going to perform down to the gutter level that they perform at.
The problem is the foundations, as I see it, the foundations on which they built their brand are crumbling away.
For a long time, you could wave all of this away as our lot being unkind, commentators being commentators, a bit of Friday night sport at his expense. Then in July, it turned up somewhere very different. A senior royal reporter at one of the serious papers, a woman who has covered this couple carefully for years, quoted somebody who has known him a long time. He never really wanted to be cut off from his own family. He was in love enough with her to choose it anyway.
Harry, I think, is floundering. I think he is completely and utterly lost, doesn't know what to do, hoping maybe working things out with his dad might lead him back into a royal role and a royal life. He probably really didn't want to give up in the first place, but Meghan convinced him to do it and he did it. And now he's just doesn't know what to do. As it turns out, he doesn't know actually how to live and work in the real world. And if you leave royal life, in some ways you are leaving a very protected bubble. And now that they're outside it, Harry's like, oh, I guess that protective bubble wasn't so bad after all. And Harry just looks ever more like a complete and utter joke in basically anything he does.
Things have changed, and the veil is lifting. 4 words. Not an anonymous account on a gossip site. Not a forum. Not one of us on here having a guess. A serious byline in a serious paper, and it went in with no hedge on it whatsoever. Once that door opened, the rest of them walked through it. A whole panel of them in July landed on the same 3 words without a single one of them being prompted, leading separate lives.
It does feel, Richard, in that climate, pretty despicable to use the children. So Harry, Meghan, Spare, for example, posting, although they won't be seen by anyone, of course, but the noise is what matters. The noise will camouflage Harry's recent disaster.
One said the 2 of them had not been seen together in a long time. Another said there was a real fracture in it now, and that they did not want to be associated with each other in public. And when the 2 of them finally did turn up together at that gala, a presenter watching it said she must be absolutely furious with her hopeless husband. Hopeless husband, said out loud on television in the afternoon, and not one person in that studio flinched. And that is the thing that has changed this summer. Not the hug and not the ring either. What changed is that people with proper careers to lose have stopped whispering it. Totally and utterly false.
I think with reference to this meeting, the Sussexes have a vested interest as well, you know, certainly commercially. They're not, he's not very bright, she's not very talented, so what have they got? They got the royal links. Now this is the ultimate, a meeting with the king and also introducing the king, of course, to a future generation. You can understand that. I mean, it's Archie and Lily, it's not their fault whether when William ascends the throne, their titles will remain is quite another matter, but then that's for the future.
This lady, this beautiful woman, saying that meeting Harry is a pinch me moment. Harry, you are the most loveliest soul. Meghan will hate that. Meghan will be hissing like a cat, like she'll be absolutely furious.
The morning after that gala, a presenter said out loud on television what everybody watching had already worked out for themselves. She must be absolutely furious with her hopeless husband. Hopeless husband, said in the afternoon on a national channel, and not one person in that studio flinched. And she will be furious. Not about a hug though, whatever the headlines have decided this week. She will be furious about the arithmetic of it.
Harry has woken up and smelled the roses. And he's not happy because it's not roses he's smelling. He's smelling something bad, poop.
A 31-year-old with a talent show trophy got 4 seconds of warmth out of that man on camera, and every paper in Britain ran it. Meghan has spent 7 years building a thing where those 2 are one item, one photograph, one story, one brand. Her husband is not simply her husband in public. He is the asset. He is the bit of it nobody else on earth can go out and buy.
We always talk about how Meghan's like, they took my voice. Well, she's taking Harry's. She's taking his voice. She's taking, his freedoms away from him to do what he wants to do.
And on Friday, the asset wandered off and handed it to somebody else in front of a room full of phones. That is a broadcaster who has watched the pair of them for years, and he did not hedge one word of it. He read that thank you post, the one her name is nowhere in, and he said it sent exactly one message. Get out of the way, sister. I am coming for your man. Then he said the thing that has stuck with me all week. The despair in his own relationship, trailing after her through New York.
I knew Meghan for a bit before she met Harry. Did exactly the same to me, you know. She did that to many people that she knew, that she'd either worked with or was friends with or whatever. It just seems to me she's what I would call a ruthless social climber, who just when people are no longer appropriate parts of her circle, they have to be expunged quickly so she can move on up the ladder.
Absolutely.
One line in a cameo on her own program, telling her how amazing she is. Not even a name anymore, just a letter. My husband, H, 5 letters in the man's name, and she will not spend them. And there is one shot he keeps going back to, her indoors filming away with her best friend and him outside the window, waiting, messing about on his own like the court jester. That is the marriage in a single frame.
Arrogance and entitlement, try to shift the blame because he can't take responsibility for anything. So of course he has to counter it with, the palace doing something. And of course they're not doing anything. I mean, Harry is the one who's been the proven liar here, who has completely, shown his hand and, what he is about. So, Harry and Meghan, I think at this point are having so many problems behind the scenes, Dan.
One of them is the show. The other one holds the coat. None of this is news to the people who watch That Family Properly Mind. A biographer who has covered them for years told an enormous American audience back in May that the feeling in Britain now is that this marriage is not going to last. A television host went further and put a date on the thing. Back in England, inside 2 years, divorced, tail between his legs.
Do you think your sister, Meghan Markle, has ruined Prince Harry?
The answer is yes. I mean, every single interview, every single picture, every place they go, Meghan grabs him. Meghan controls him. Meghan tells him no. Meghan stands in front of him. She controls every single situation like she is the star. And she's turned Prince Harry into a man of non-substance, for her own well-being.
An author who has written 2 full books on that family said in the spring that the 2 of them are at an unfortunate crossroads and moving in different directions. Then a whole panel of them in July landed on the same 3 words without a single one being prompted, leading separate lives. And the woman who has been around that family for 40 years told him months ago that he would be well advised to get out, while the going was still just about possible. Not one of that lot was saying it in 2022. Make of it what you will.
I have never seen much contrition from the Sussexes. I don't think they fully understand or appreciate what the word means. Look at Meghan, for example. I mean, she's the most trolled person in the world, we hear, and of course, the lies they spread about the royal family, for example, and famously on Oprah, then of course in the Netflix series, and of course Harry's memoir Spare was a bizarre feat.
There is one bit of Friday I keep going back to, and it is not the hug. It is that arm. She stood on somebody else's carpet on the last night of his charity, and she lifted her arm and told him where to stand. And he walked past it, and she looked down and put her hands behind her back. And about 2 hours later, a girl she had never met was getting the warmest thing out of her husband that anybody has got out of him in 4 years.
I'm not afraid of Meghan Markle. She doesn't have a leg to stand on. Meghan Markle is a third-rate, shall we say, greaser and bully. I'm used to first-rate bullies. So she doesn't frighten me in the slightest. And if she tried anything unprecise, I'd crush her the way an elephant crushes an ant. As for Harry, he can't sue me either.
She organized that entire evening, and it still got away from her before the pudding. He stood on a stage once and told a room to ignore the divorce talk, said the pair of them had apparently divorced 10 or 12 times already, had a good laugh about it, and got his laugh back off the room. That was December of 2024, and back then he could say it and mean it. They are all saying it now, and not one of them has had so much as a letter about it. Funny that. So tell me in the comments, and do not be gentle. One arm nobody took, 6 months of a bare finger, and the woman who wrote his own biography saying flat out that he is happier when his wife is nowhere near him. Do you reckon that marriage sees Christmas? Next time, the ring nobody will price. Where the new one came from, and why not one person will put a name to it.